Hi, everyone. I'm a little late this morning, about a half an hour late. I'm sorry. I had a little issue with StreamYard this morning. It was probably my fault, but anyway, I've got it going again. So I'm sorry if you were here and if we started and you got kicked out, but we've got it all going now. So I'm Danny. This is Mysterious Things. And we look into questions that we've got about what's going on in the world, what's going on in our lives, and how that things that affect us. And we have a list of questions today that I think really cover everything. We try to keep a positive vibe here, even though some of the news is not as positive as we would like. We're still going to barrel through it and get through it today. So I have these questions. I'm going to add this to the stage. Today we're going to talk about the Trump-Putin summit, the People's Hearing on Extreme Weather, all flocked up. That's about how ICE is using these special glasses to, anyway, we'll talk about that. Compliments anyone. This is a really cute one from the Midwest, a cute story, and our weekly inspiration. So let's gonna get started on that. Oh, before we go too far, I want to remind you, if you like this video, if it's helpful to you or enjoyable in any way, please do give me a big thumbs up. It really does help with the algorithm. And comment and subscribe. I have your comments. You can come right online and I'll answer your questions right now or maybe in another video. So I have something really exciting to tell you before we start everything, and that is that I have just completed and sent off to the printers a new Oracle deck. It's called the Predictions Oracle, and it is gorgeous. I can't wait to get it back so that I can proof it and make sure it's good, and then I'll have it available for you all. Let me show you just a couple of photos. Now, all of the imagery is done with paper cut quilling, Quilling, and that's where you roll paper around and use it to make designs. So I think it came out really beautiful. That one is clouds overhead. This next one, radiance and transformation. Beautiful paper cut. And you can see how these will transfer. You'll be able to read these for yourself or for others. This is home port. And when I do this deck, I will have an online dictionary or guide for each of the cards so that you'll know what the original meaning was of them if you read that way, or you can read them intuitively. I think that the imagery is so vast that you should be able to connect with these cards really easily. So anyway, I'm sorry about that little advertisement there that I had. And let's get on. Well, the first thing is Trump. Trump and, of course, always, Trump and Putin are going to meet in Alaska. And this has really happened really quickly. Just a few days ago, they were on like this 2 hours long conversation. I think one of them would talk for 45 minutes and the other would talk for 45 minutes. And I don't know if the one on the other end was just sleeping like this on the other end, listening. Of course, they had to go through translation and stuff like that. But anyway, it was really long. And at the end, they decided, we should just meet and talk. So they did figure out they wanted to go. They tried to figure out a place. They thought Washington, D.C. Remember, I think there's something that he's not allowed in Washington, D.C. I'll have to look that up. But don't see why Alaska would be any different. It's part of the states, but maybe it's just Washington, D.C. Anyway, they thought about doing it in Saudi Arabia, I think, but this is where they landed on, Alaska. So that's going to happen on the 15th, and I want to know what Ukrainians think about this meeting. So let's take a look at a video I found that is Ukrainians telling CNN how they feel about, let's go put this like this so that we can see the whole thing. And here is the video.
The current leader of America is a spineless windbag.
I believe that if Trump wanted to end the war, he has every opportunity to do so.
It's unfair and horrible.
It's anger and a sense of injustice.
Our boys, girls, how many have died? How many people are waiting for us under occupation, who unfortunately do not have the opportunity to leave? And they are waiting for Ukraine under the threat of death.
What is happening now is some kind of game that we do not understand. While they are negotiating something there, people are dying. If they could make a deal or wanted to, they would have had already done it. This is just for show, to calm society down. The person who promised to end everything in a day is now making new statements every day. I do not believe it.
You can't play games with Putin. Look at Europe. They said, let's appease him. And he sees that he can do whatever he wants. He gets away with everything.
Wow, so that's how the Ukrainians feel. Let's see what the cards have to say about this. I'm going to use the Pope Tarot cards again. I like them for political things. And Trump has been acting really erratically lately. I don't know if he's stressed. He's really trying to take the focus off of Epstein. And he really wants the Nobel Peace Prize because, Obama got it. So I'm trying to shuffle without plonking it on the desk because I know you don't like that. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, he wants that Nobel Peace Prize. Now, if he could get somebody to end a war, that would put him probably in the running for one. Nobody likes to see, but it's not because he cares about the people or because he cares about what's going on. He only wants it because he wants that prize on his shelf so that he can point to it and tell people how wonderful he was and what he did. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what we have here. Magician. Yeah, the magician. He wants to pull something out of his hat. He, I think he really would like a fair outcome, but I don't even think he knows what a fair outcome is. Since he does not have the empathy for people, what he wants to do is negotiate it like it was a business. And a fair outcome to him is, okay, I'll trade you this for that. This is worth this much money and this is worth this much money. So we ought to be able to negotiate something there. That's how he thinks. He doesn't think about people getting hurt, people getting divided from their families and their history. There's no heart and empathy there. Anyway, so the magician was first, and the star. There's some hope. I think he wants to be the star again. That comes out fairly clearly. But there's some other things going on besides with the moon. Besides what is what is going to be talked about. So they're talking about other things besides the war. There's some things that are going on that, here. Next one is the 8 of Pentacles. And see, they're planning, but it's kind of undercover, under the cover. Maybe also that is the Epstein stuff, that they're trying to put something over that they're trying to kind of hide that by doing this big show for Putin. Are there some decisions to be made? Yeah, there are definitely decisions to be made, but ultimately, nothing's going to come of this. They're going to put on a big show, kind of like the Ukrainians said, just da 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 da, big show. Yeah, but it's going to end with a nothing. So that's what the cards have to say about that. So let's go on to the next thing. I will shuffle while this is happening, and it's called the people's hearings. Now, all over the country, they've been having these hearings about climate change, where the people really get to talk about it. This is an organized thing. There people get to talk about and listen to what's happening. So they try to target. Let's go back a little bit. They're trying to target areas that have been hit by disasters. They just recently had one in California after the wildfires there, and they have one in Carolina. I'm going to show you the one from Carolina, and you can see what these hearings are and listen to the effects of climate change on real people. So let's see if I can get that up. Extreme weather. Let's see, I've got to get myself out of the picture again. I think that one's will do it. And we're going to add this to the stage. And
hello, everyone, and welcome to the Climate Change and Extreme Weather People's Hearing. The testifiers you will hear from tonight will be sharing their personal stories about how they have been impacted by extreme weather events such as Hurricane Helene.
I heard that the water might get 4 feet into our building. The day after the storm, I wanted to see how the shop looked. It had gotten much higher than 4 feet. It was 26 feet. So much work and our livelihoods as business owners was ruined.
Having to run for your life with whatever you can grab is hard enough on anyone. For those who are already in a challenging place, it's much worse.
One thing I think people can sometimes forget is that firefighters, we get scared just like you get scared. And we have moments when we rise above that fear, just like you.
Throughout my life, I've lived in 6 states, and nowhere has felt safe from climate disaster. I've experienced 5 hurricanes, 2 detrimental wildfires, and more tornado warnings than I can count.
I don't know about you, but I had trouble sleeping for weeks after the storm as I replayed in my head images, stories of the tragic impacts, as well as the haunting expectation of these long-term challenges that we all saw ahead of us.
Witnessing the devastation and heartbreaking loss in Western North Carolina from Hurricane Helene has solidified the need to protect each other by way of protecting the environment.
The EPA wants to repeal almost 30 clean air and water rules that mitigate climate change. Repealing these could lead to over 30,000 unnecessary deaths and $275 billion annually.
The EPA doesn't exist to serve politicians. It exists to protect the public.
Climate change is real. The consequences of inaction are severe.
Please do not roll back the policies that help us thrive together.
If the EPA rolls back protections against climate change and pollution, then we will have more natural disasters like this.
Okay, as I said, these are going on in disaster areas, but wherever you live, there have been terrible things that are happening. We've had floods. Now we're in fire season. Hurricane season is fast approaching. Tornadoes. What else have been just terrible, terrible weather. So let's see what the cards have to say about that. Okay. So the first one we got is the Queen of Cups. So I think that this movement is sort of grounded in compassion, you know. She's the mom, Mother Earth. And this movement for people to speak out about what's happening to them, the effects of climate change on them is really a good thing. It brings a highlight, a compassionate highlight, not just dollars going here and FEMA did this, and we all hear the stories, right? But for people to say this is how it affected me, I think is very powerful. Next one is Five of Wands. They're going to have some really pushback, some really intense conflict. I'm sorry, I'm shaking it, but some intense conflict about this. I think the administration is going to really push back on these people. They don't want the rollbacks for the EPA regulations, but I don't see that this is going to be able to stop it. The next is we have the Ace of Swords. Now, the Ace of Swords, I always think of as cutting something. So they're cutting it off. They're cutting off the funding for the EPA. So even if the people at the EPA wanted to help, the rules are changing, and these people are going to be left high and dry and alone. So they're doing a lot of cuts. They're going to have some small wins here and there, but overall, I don't think so. People are going to have to be strong, and we're going to have to rely on ourselves and our communities. And I'm sorry this is taking so long. It's hard for me to get this out. I'm feeling this big pressure. These people they're not getting help that they need. And things are overwhelmed. Their businesses are, just like that one girl said, they lost their business. Some people lost their homes. All those little girls in Texas lost their lives. So this I'm really getting this strength card is really, really strong. We have to be aware of what's going on. We can't just think, oh yeah, firefighters will come and take care of me if there's a fire close by. They don't have the staff. So go around your home. If you live in a rural area that, even if the Palisades was not a rural area, check around your home. Make a defensive area around your home that is just grass. There's no trees. There's no overhanging. There are no wood piles. Maybe you have a pool. That's great. Make sure that you have sprinklers, or that the surrounding area around your home acts as a buffer. You can see that those places in Maui that had nothing around them fared much better than the ones who had the palm trees and the little structures, the outbuildings around their home. So that is the same everywhere. If you live on or near a river or a creek, maybe you build a defensive wall now before the next flood. So there are things that you can do. Some of it costs money, some of it doesn't. Do what you can. But rely on yourselves, because I don't think a whole lot of is coming from the government, unfortunately. Okay, well, whew. Now the next thing is the Flock. Now, Flock is a company that makes these glasses. And I found this article that was really interesting. Where did they have it? Here it is. Okay. It says 2 members of Congress have launched a formal investigation into the automatic license plate reader company Flock and demanded that it turn over details of all searches of its national camera network concerning ICE, Customs, and Border Patrol protection, and abortions. The move came after 404 Media revealed that local cops were performing lookups in Flock on behalf of ICE for immigration enforcement, and that a Texas office searched cameras nationwide looking for a woman who self-administered an abortion. The congressional investigation is just the latest impact from these investigations, which have resulted in a wave of similar coverage around the country, and Flock making major changes to its platform. Wow. So these guys are wearing these special tech glasses that connect with Flock, and Flock is a platform. And what happens is it's a face recognition or a license plate recognition. And this is one of the things that we don't like about AI, is that all of a sudden nothing is private. They can look you up immediately and tell who you are, tell where you live, what's your driver's license number, maybe what's your social security number. We don't even know what the information that Musk's kids took out of that and put in the ether. So this, excuse me, I have a little. So this is really the start of our investigations into how AI is going to affect us, and the worst possible way. So let's see what the cards have to say on that. I'm really, this is really one that makes your stomach hurt. I love AI. Okay? I love the things that it can do for you. It is the world condensed into a library that you can access. And it can talk back to you. So if I wanted to talk to a pharaoh in Egypt, I could just say, hey, Ramses, tell me about yourself. But when it's used like this, when it's used against people, this is the bad part of AI that they warned us against. And I'm glad to see that there is a congressional hearing about this. Let's see how it goes. Okay, here we go. Temperance. Well, that's what we want. Balanced oversight, right? Allow AI, but don't allow them to go wild with it. Justice, that's good. It shows that there's a potential in this investigation to stop this in its tracks, or at least have the oversight, right? Oh, but that's where it is. There's going to be a lot of conflict, and it's being misused. Okay, So this is being misused. And there's going to be a lot of conflict. It's going to be really disruptive. There's going to be a lot of fighting over this, what you can allow AI to do and what AI will do on its own, and how we can control it. And that's the starting of that is happening, I think, with this. This is maybe a pivotal conversation that's happening right now. And the sword. So that's little I would say that's a little bit of a watchdog energy that we're not going to be able to do what we'd like to do, that it is already too big and overwhelming. And in lieu of just shutting the whole thing down, we're going to have little wins here and there. But overall, AI can be misused and is going to be misused. Because we got people that in this world that only think about themselves and not anyone else. The justice part would be if we can keep a lid on it, if we can balance it. Wow. A pivotal moment in our evolution as people and the evolution of AI. This is all very heavy. So the next thing I have is a cute little story out of the Midwest. Again, I have to put myself down here, and let's move to this. This 9-year-old named Ethan, he set up a stand and he gives free compliments to anybody who stops by. Now, his sister has a stand which is right next to him and she's selling her artwork, but he thought it was really, it wasn't really fair to pay for a compliment. So he puts out his chair, and the people that come up, he'll say stuff like, "I love your shoes. That green is a great color." And he has he's created a connection in the community. People come by 2 or 3 times to see him. And he says he just does it because it makes him feel good. He really likes this. And I love this for him too. And I love this for us. It shows us that children, before they get indoctrinated into one idea or another, can show us the way, can teach us. So this is really fun. I'm going to do a quick reading on this with my wizard tarot cards because they're cute and they're fun. And we'll see how is Ethan's life going to go. This is really a great thing. He gave he talked to a lady. He said, "How are you doing? Looks like you're happy today." And she started to drive away. And he ran because he realized he hadn't really given her a compliment. So he went back to her, chased the car down and said, "Hey," something like, "your hair looks really nice today," or something. A compliment, because he didn't feel like he'd really done the job well. I love this about him. Okay, let's see what he has in store. Okay, so here we have the Page of Cups. Oh, let's get back to me. We have the Page of Cups. That's youthful emotions, giving. That's definitely him. Pure-hearted giving. And then the sun is for warmth. Yeah, he's got it in spades. So then we have the Six of Cups, and that shows sort of a nostalgia, this nostalgic giving, and it's also teaching. It's not the teacher teaching the child. This is the child teaching the adult. This is great. Ten of Pentacles, and that's about building. He's building something. He's building that community. He's building up people. I think he's got a good future, this kid. And, the last is the World, and it's his kindness and his community. And this affects us all. His story, just a kid on the sidewalk with a card table and a chair and a little umbrella, has made the news in Illinois. He's made the AP. He's has a worldwide audience for his compliments. Now, 9 years old, what can you do today to give compliments out and have a little bit of this innocent childhood giving? How awesome is that? So that's really it for today. I need to pull a empowerment card for the week, though. So for the next week, we need a word of empowerment to get us through the week. Show us, that one jumped way out. So I guess that's the one we're going to use. It dropped on the floor. It's proactive. Okay, so let's see what it says. You are worthy of financial security. Be proactive. Save, budget, plan. Take the necessary first steps toward your wealth creation. Proactive. That's our word for the week. And try to be proactive. And I'll see you next week at 11 o'clock. And I'm next week, I'll be on time. And have a wonderful week, you all. Bye-bye.